everybody, and welcome to our second webinar of today's Marketing Showcase webinar day. My name's Ashley Jones, and I'll be your, bodge presenter for today and bodge host for this Q&A session. I'm going to do my best to get through this one with you guys. And I'm delighted to be joined by James and Nick from Let's Run Social, who will be helping us answer our questions on Facebook advertising. Today's session is recorded. It's 30 minutes in length, so if there's any bits that you miss, you can go back and watch that at a later date. That's no problem. But I think that's all I needed to say. So without further ado, let's welcome our two speakers from Let's Run Social, James and Nick.
Morning.
Morning, Nick. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Well. Hi, James.
Hey, Ash, you okay?
Really well, thank you. Good. Really pleased you two are joining me today. Do you want to do a quick intro to both of you and Let's Run Social?
Yeah, we can do. So good morning, everyone. My name is Nick Boddington. I'm the co-founder and digital director of Let's Run Social Agency. And this is my co-founder, James Urquhart, who is basically front of house and managing director and heads the business. So Let's Run Social are a Facebook lead and sales generating business. We're an advertising company specializing in Facebook. So we work with small, medium, and some very large blue chip companies. So we see a lot of things. We have a lot of spend. And that's not to say that we're just sucked up on massive, huge spends with big brands. We deal with all different sizes of companies, but it allows us to learn very, very quickly on all the new techniques that are happening within our team and our company. So thanks for joining us today, and hope to answer all the questions that you guys are sitting there scratching your heads about.
Brilliant. Look, we're going to start today with a poll, and it's going to kind of evaluate the state of play with, I'm just going to relaunch that. It's going to evaluate the state of play of Facebook advertising of our audience today. So hopefully that's popped up on everyone's screens, and I can see, yeah, some people are answering. So it's asking, what's your experience with Facebook advertising? Are you all geniuses, whiz kids with Facebook? Have you found it expensive, complicated? Have you never tried it? Or is there something else that we haven't offered there? So whilst that runs, I'm going to ask Nick our first pre-submitted question, which came from Jenny Shaw. And she was asking, she's had some problems with closing Facebook accounts, old Facebook accounts. And to be honest with you, I've heard others say this, and no way of contacting Facebook, no way of getting hands-on with support. Is this something you see continuously, or how do you close a Facebook account? Is it something you can do yourself?
Okay, so to close, so it's just whether the definition is of an account or a page. So a Facebook page, you'll literally go into your Facebook page and you go to your settings down the left-hand side. You go into your settings, and then when you're in your settings, you'll see remove page, and that takes about 14 days. Removing an ad account is a slightly different thing, in which case you need to go into your settings when you're in your ads manager or your business manager. So you're in your business manager, you go into your settings, and most people, once they've advertising for a while, get up to 5 different ad accounts. Now you need to go on there and delete those ad accounts. But this is if this is where the frustration is coming in, it does take a while. And one of the things that I would say with Facebook, that this is a beast of a company. Getting in touch with these guys and actually getting to the people you want to speak to is probably not the easiest thing. And don't get me wrong, we're an agency and we spend a lot of money, and we still get frustrated with it. So if you want to contact Facebook, you can. There is a little, when you're in your business settings, there is a little question mark in the bottom left, and that will open up a support, and you can choose email or chat. It's best just to start it off. Once you've started off, people do come back to you. It's just not very, very quick.
Okay, perfect. And Anthony's actually just put there, he's got a friend that's struggling getting in touch with Facebook ads, Facebook advertising whilst on the platform. I suppose that answers that one too.
Yeah, into Business Manager, bottom left, little question mark, opens up a side panel on your right, and there'll be a contact support. They don't make these things very easy, because I think they want you to figure out yourself.
Perfect. Well, also that's a good reason for using experts, right?
Exactly.
Subtle plug. Look, I'm just going to share the results of our poll quickly so everyone can sort of see how everyone else is sitting. It seems the majority of people still haven't tried Facebook ads, which actually surprises me. 43% of people said that they've never tried it. 34% still believe it's complicated. 7% saying it's expensive, and an equal amount saying that they're experts. So a small percentage of our audience today finding that they're experts, but most have never tried it. Guys, how are you finding, like, when you go out and speak to businesses, is that common that nearly half of businesses just simply haven't tried it?
Yeah, we still hear it from an email marketing point of view, and that's been around a long time. So sometimes, oh, I've never tried this email marketing thing. It's like, okay, it's like 15 years now. Facebook marketing, everyone who hasn't tried it. You see there's complicated and there's never tried it. It is complicated, which is why I would really, you need to look at buying a course or something like that. The problem is if people go in without any knowledge whatsoever, you're going to get lost. You're going to set things up wrong, and you're going to have, it's a recipe for disaster, because then you're going to start seeing the poll where it says it's too expensive. It's usually too expensive because things aren't correct. If you're not, this is something we'll go into later on, if you're not engaging with the audience in a good way, it's Facebook's way of kicking you off the platform. It won't just say, hey, we don't want you as an advertiser. It raises prices because you're not doing a good job of engaging the user. Your prices go up. Too complicated? Yes, it is. You need to go out and you can even start with, I started off years ago with YouTube videos, and then I got some understanding. Then I looked at some courses, got some courses, and now we have our own courses in place because of, of the knowledge we have now. But there's too many opportunities on this platform. I can see James wants to say something. It's full of opportunities.
Yeah, I think the complicated sometimes gets misinterpreted in terms of what you're going in, and we're going to use this term a lot during this chat, which is objective. Why are you using Facebook marketing? We know why people use, for example, email marketing, which is more commonly used for marketing and small business owners. It's to re-engage customers, or it's to buy in a cold list and bring them into your ecosystem. Facebook marketing is no different. You just need to go in with a very clear objective. And a lot of people that have tried Facebook marketing in the past have gone in with, I'm going to go in and spend £100 and get £1,000 out. Well, yes, when you're early adopters of these platforms, absolutely you can get those really good wins. But doing that now is like Leicester winning the league all those years ago. It's not always going to happen, and it is a bit of a risk. You've got to very much go in with a very clear objective as to why you're spending that money and where are you spending it.
Thanks, guys. Just before we get underway, there's now 6 open questions in the Q&A already. So if everyone can open up the Q&A panel and start voting the ones that we want to get answered first, that would be handy. Or if you have a question to add to the mix, please do that. So I'm going to work from the top, and it's Damien's question here. I'm going to read it word for word, and then we're going to elaborate a little bit. So Damien's asked, is there a way of using Facebook Marketplace to advertise vehicles as a UK used car dealer? And I just want to broaden that up away from car dealers to sort of talk about Facebook Marketplace and the advertising available in that. Can you give us a rundown on what Facebook Marketplace is and the advertising options available, and then maybe mention how that might work for, say, a used car dealer?
Yeah, so Facebook Marketplace is a shopping area of Facebook where, like eBay, I suppose, I use it. You find a jumper that you haven't worn very often and want to sell it, you take a picture of it, stick up Marketplace for free, and you put a price you want on there. Now, it's a great question because we actually focus on this for some of the big brands we deal with in the automotive sector, because if you are selling a car, you're going to want it to come in there. So what you need to do is build your ad using the interest in the audience as you would normally build an ad. So you go in there and you look at, there's 2 things. You can look at interests, and also built-in interests is page likes, but it doesn't say page likes. So the way I need you to understand this is if you type in enterprise cars and enterprise car comes up, that's people who have liked enterprise cars because it's actually a Facebook page. If you put in car rental, that's an interest. That's the algorithm pulling out people that are interested in car rental. So I would say that if you're going to build those interest base up, use actual car manufacturers, things like that. Now, so then you've broken your audience down into where they are sitting in Facebook. So you could do they like Car Wow, and they must also like Auto Trader. So you've got really in depth, you've narrowed your search. And then when you go further down that same page, which is in your ad set page, where you'll see how you can actually, your manual placements or automated placements, go into manual placements, untick everything apart from marketplace. And that will mean that your ad is only going to go show in a marketplace within the category and interest that you've selected. Facebook will know. Facebook knows you're selling a car because it can read your URLs and it can read your landing pages. So it is intelligent enough. Well, it's the cleverest computer on the planet. It knows to put your ad in front of people who are searching for cars.
Just actually going off that, on that is that we've got a vehicle repairer, and they came to us early stages of the year because they were having a lot of work through insurance firms. And the problem with the insurance firms is their margins are very small, so they engage with us wanting to get people that have got scuffs and need people in the local area within Coventry that need vehicle repairs. And already within the short amount of time that we've gone live, they're already seeing people that want to self-claim, so they're paying for the vehicle repairs themselves rather than going through the insurers. And we're seeing a conversion rate at the moment of about 33%. So that's a good example in terms of that car market. The Damien, I think his name was, he's probably going up against people like Auto Trader who you've got to pay. You can again use this medium, and especially within a localized area, which I'm sure most of his market is localized. If you can get really good engaged pot of people there, and very cheaply potentially using, Nick, I know you discussed obviously like Facebook Marketplace, there's no reason why you can't do some really cheap engagement ads around a local area. And again, they're very cheap in terms of CPM costs, really cheap. So, as long as you're not going in knowing that you're going to sell a car tomorrow, it might be a nice way just to bring your local engagement up.
Yeah, thanks, Damien. I hope that helped. Now with 9 votes, we've got Minty that's asked the question here. I'm not sure that is it EastEnders Minty? Is that the one that's from EastEnders?
Yeah, I think it was, wasn't it?
Anyway, this is a good techie sort of, we're diving straight into it. Good question here. So is there a sweet spot between spend, reach, and ad duration? Minty tends to spend around 25 to £50 per ad, run it for a week or so, which usually attracts 100k reach. Can I improve the reach by increasing spend, or is the targeted audience limiting the reach and engagement? So there's a pyramid there, and they're probably all 3 of them connected, or aren't they? Can you talk a little bit about that, one of you?
Minty knows what he's doing here.
He does. Minty needs. This is an ads clinic. This is an ads clinic question. No, everyone's thinking, what's the ads clinic? But we'll go on to that. So this is a great question, pretty in depth actually. So if you're spending 25 to 50 pounds per ad, well done. Now I just want to question, you can't obviously answer me, but is that per campaign or per ad? If it's per ad,
it does say per ad in the thing. So
it's a decent budget it's a decent budget for an ad. So the budget is not too bad. Going back to what James was saying on the last question is, what's your objective? So you're talking here about reach. Now I don't get, obviously when we're building ads for clients, we're always looking to scale our clients' ads. So we're always looking for a winner and then we want to scale it. So we're always making sure our audience is there. So it's whether you're going to a local area and are you only finding that there's only a potential reach of 250,000 people in that area, which on your kind of budget of £50 a day, you're going to get through pretty quickly before you start seeing your frequency go up on your ad, is widening that. If you can't widen it, it's looking at, you're going to have to change your creative more and more. So it might be that you need to do some simple maths and say, okay, I'm going to get, now actually just stop there. I would look at what your audience says. If your audience says it's got 1 million people in it, Facebook is probably only likely to show your ad to about 500,000, maybe 400,000 of those, simply because they're in your interest and in your audience that you've created on the advertising platform doesn't mean that Facebook is going to show your ad to everyone, because if Facebook doesn't think your ad is engaging and relevant to a consumer who may have fell into that audience, it won't show them the ad because it doesn't want to annoy the user. So I'm just reading it quickly.
Just quickly, Nick, while you're just going on, I think the first part of your question, Minty, in terms of is there a sweet spot in terms of spend? Again, this is something I stress to everyone that comes and reaches out to Let's On Social or the Ads Clinic, is that this is one of the only platforms where you truly are on a level playing field. And I use this term a lot because it doesn't matter if you're going up against people like Hitachi or Gymshark, who obviously we know have got vast amount of budgets. You as a marketer are given a CPM cost, with the cost per 1,000 impressions, as you'll know. Now, if you're engaging your audience and keeping people on Facebook's platform, they will decrease your CPM costs. So in terms of, where's the
what your CPM is, James? It's the So
yes, the cost per thousand impressions. Yeah. So again, I think it's one of those. It's obviously, look, you can always do things to improve your targeting, your engagement within the ad per audience. So something we discuss a lot at the moment is changing your creative and copy per audience. So putting the same static image or same carousel or same video to multiple audiences may not resonate because that audience isn't used to buying a Porsche than it is a Peugeot, as an example, looking at someone like Damien. So they're very different types of audiences. So again, I think it goes just back to that level playing field. How are you engaging that audience, and how are you keeping people on this platform, which again, in turn, will, Facebook will favor your ads and give you cheaper costs.
That's exactly. So as you were saying that, James, I was just reading this. Can I improve the reach by increasing spend? No, you can't. You need to make sure your audience is big enough for the spend you've got, and £50 per ad is a decent amount. Running a week or so, it now takes Facebook 5 to 7 days to get data back. So if you're turning an ad off before 5 days, really the ad hasn't had a chance to actually go through its learning phase and actually build up what its potential is. But yeah, James, best answer, engagement. It's about keeping people on the platform. All Facebook and all the others are doing to compete with each other is keeping a user on the platform. If your creative and copy is just not good, Facebook's not going to show it to a lot of people. It's not going to feed out as well you wanted to. Your costs are going to come up, your click-through rate's going to come up, and you're going to think it's not working.
When we're saying keeping on the platform here, as a marketer, we always want to drive somebody to a landing page on our site. Are we saying that keeping them engaged on the platform in terms of that they're actually seeing your ad copy and reading it and staying on there, or is sending somebody away from a landing page to a landing page a bad thing?
Well, so on average, 2.5 hours a day on average, people are spending on Facebook. Facebook want to keep you on there for longer, which is why they like videos, which is why some of the other platforms like TikTok are winning, because it's just constant video. It keeps people on the platform longer. And that's what the platforms want. In answer to sending someone away now, Facebook actually keeps you in Facebook. You're actually in Facebook. So you might see in the top left-hand side of the corner, when you go out to somewhere else, you'll see a little Facebook with a back arrow right on the top. You're still sitting on Facebook's server. They've brought your website into it without you realizing. It's to help with tracking and all this sort of stuff. So you're actually never leaving Facebook unless you close that page down and go somewhere else. So
again, it's back to that original thing, Ash, keeping them engaged. If you're sitting, if you're bouncing from a landing page very quickly, or it's not loading because your speed time's, really slow, again, that's things that Facebook will look at and go, well, actually, they're not engaging our audience here. And, to your question, to what you're saying there, Nick, 19.5 hours per week, an average daily active user will spend on the platform, which is
scary stat. That is,
yeah. It's nuts. It's an absolute crazy amount of time.
Okay, hopefully that ticks off that question. Really good one. Thank you for joining in with the Q&A. So the next one goes to Elliot. This is the next most upvoted question. What are the main benefits of using paid ads, and how much budget do I need? I mean, you and Nick, James and I, we've done a few of these Q&A sessions now. This is time and time again. Tell us about budget. What is the entry point to which you believe that people need in their back pocket to start playing the game, or is that a myth? Can you start with nothing?
James, do you want to do the benefit of paid ads, and I'll go on to the budget?
Yeah, so the benefit is really the platform itself. It's currently got, I think, 2.8 billion users around the world. 1.8 of those are daily active users. As I said, they're 19.5 hours per month people spend on the platform per week, which is, again, nuts. And the benefits, again, it's you are on that level playing field and your audience is there. 35% of the audience is over 35. The rest of the percentage is under. So depending on what your marketplace is, the people are sitting there. And again, it's just that, this is such an invasive platform. This isn't like PPC where you've got essentially you're in an auction and it's, whoever pays the highest price wins. It's not that. It's down to us as marketers and business owners engaging with the right audiences and the people that you want to prospect to, and keeping them engaged and actually bring them into your ecosystem to then hopefully convert them to a sale, whether that's an offline sale or an online sale. it's, that's the benefits. This is invasive marketing. Even though a lot of consumers aren't sometimes in the market for your product or service, I think I saw a stat earlier this year, I think 78% of adults in the US have bought a product because they've been influenced online, and it was a product they've never even heard or thought of before, or the brand. So that shows how powerful this platform is, even though you've got people like TikTok now, which are, as we've all seen, the stats are crazy in terms of the users and the engagement on that. Facebook is still used by a vast amount of people. And again, without really going on to this point again, it's a level playing field. You can go up against the Gymsharks, the Nikes of the world, and you can be a little, one-man band in Manchester or down in Bournemouth. It doesn't matter. You compete with the big boys. It's all on your level of engagement.
In regards to budget, I don't overcomplicate things. Of course you can throw 10, 20 quid a day. Absolutely. So, we have plenty of businesses who have that sort of ad spend, and you can get sales from them. It comes down to how what your objective is. I would always use conversions to, sell a product or get leads for your business. But it also comes down to how much is your product cost? Is it high ticket product? Do you know from other types of advertising channels what your average order value is? So if you know that your average order value is coming through most of the time at £45, and you're only giving Facebook £10 a day, then you can do the simple maths there. It's going to take you a week to get her in order. So it all comes down to that. It also comes down to how quickly you want to learn. So, Facebook is about reading the data, but it takes 5 days, for 5 to 7 days for your ad to optimize properly, to start for Facebook's to really start understanding what's going on. So if you're spending 10 quid a day, then you're 50 to 70 pounds in. So you're already 50 to 70 pounds in just obtaining data. Chances are you won't get any order. Chances are you won't get any leads in that amount of time. So once you've started, start with £10. And once you start understanding the system, you start seeing things that work, you gain more confidence, you can start building it up. If you don't know what you're doing on the platform, you're not going to go in there spending £5,000. But £10 is a perfectly good starting point to get things going.
Just also, Nick, sort of elaborating on that question, is that if you know already what your cost per lead is, so let's say, for example, your cost per lead is £100 using things like PPC or other means, and you're spending £10 a day, well, based on the maths, it's going to take you 10 days to get one lead. So if you already know that it's going to be £100 for a lead already in the business, and you want one a day, well, reverse engineer it. I'm going to have to spend a minimum of £100 a day just to get that one lead based on the stats I've already got available to me. And a lot of people overthink this. Like, most of the questions on this today are all about budget. You've already got most statistics within your business before you go into Facebook, and you have a knowledge of going, okay, well, I've pretty much an understanding of what it costs to acquire an email address or acquire a lead or get someone to buy my product, or if you're an e-commerce site. Again, you've got this data available to you. Before you go into Facebook marketing or any type of marketing, in truth, use those stats you've already got, reverse engineer it, and then see if it's worth the investment. Because if you can't spend £100 a day from day one, and that's what you want to get to, which is one lead a day, or either try and reduce your costs, and how do you do that? But yeah, again, elaborating on that, I truly would use the data available to you before you go out to a wider audience.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really, really good point. I think looking at the data you've already got, I think lots of marketers that I see regularly at events online doing these things or speaking to think Facebook, think that TikTok, think that these other forms of advertising suddenly aren't marketing. And they start to use different metrics to evaluate these new platforms. But you're dead right. That's a really good anecdote to take there. So, right, I've come up with a new feature for this Q&A, and it's called 9 questions in 5 minutes.
Okay.
So we've got 9 open questions, and we're going to try and get through them all, or squeeze as much of them in as possible into the last 5 minutes of this. So let's crack on with them. So Ellis has asked, would you suggest that conversion or link click is the best to go for in terms of budget? Go for a lifetime or daily to get the best out of a campaign? Fine. Did that make more sense to you, or did I read that poorly?
Go conversion all the time. Link click is not working anymore. That's 3 years ago. Set it for a purchase conversion or a lead conversion. Daily budget, always. Lifetime, never use it. Daily budget means that Facebook is going to spend your £10 a day and find data. Lifetime means it will do it over a period of time. Lifetime is generally when you think you're confident in your ad and you leave it. But never do that. We never do it.
Done. Bosh. Perfect. Next question. Anthony Lord, Facebook is predominantly a social platform with private accounts for the use of individuals outside of work. Would you suggest that Twitter is a more effective way to get to the right people, or Facebook? They're a membership organization for lawyers. So just to summarize, Facebook people, I go on and look at cat videos, but I'm also representing my business. Talk to me about that sort of divide and how Facebook plays a role in that.
I'm going to do this really quickly. There's 2.8 billion users. Some of those are lawyers.
I think that is the point. I think, yeah.
Really, really good content out and go dog whistle copy. Are you a lawyer looking to get knowledge on this particular thing? Join this group.
That's perfect. Just to elaborate on that, I'd like to know, would you post content for the lawyer in their professional role, or do you post content that the lawyer might like in their personal life? So say stereotypically lawyers like golf. I'm going to post.
No, business, strictly business. You'll get the data will be skew if then, Ash.
Cool, good. Next question, Lindsay Perry. What is the difference between ads and boosting, or are they the same thing?
Boosting is based. Sorry, Joe, go on.
Boosting is like betting on Leicester to win the league. It's an absolute pun. Using ads, you actually know what you're going to get out of it.
Boosting is using engagement, likes, comments, or shares. So it won't get you orders. It's potluck if you get any orders off it. You need to build an ad using a purchase conversion campaign. For e-com or lead gen is lead conversion campaign.
Cool. So what we're saying there is boosting, it just looks at the vanity metrics. Whereas when you go into the platform and configure your ads, you can configure them to reach people that will spend money.
Boosting helps Facebook gives it make its shareholders give a big smile.
Yeah, it gives you a dopamine hit as a user.
Perfect. Look, we're cracking through them. We're getting close to our 5-minute deadline here. So Damien's back with another question. Is a carousel, still image or video the best type of ad?
Depends, doesn't it? Yeah.
Objective.
Depends on objective. It's all about testing. Our go-to is video. Video gets a lot more engagement and Facebook likes video. Plus you can build audiences based on how long someone's watched the video for, which is amazing for retargeting. Carousel, if someone swipes, it feeds into an audience of engaged with Facebook or Instagram. But you have to tell, we test all three. It's different to every client in every different campaign.
I think Minty's back with another great question here. When creating an ad to get website clicks, how can I keep the bounce rate as low as possible? Can you just let us know what he means by what is a bounce and how do you keep those low?
Well, these aren't basically going on my last thing of don't use link clicks anymore. Don't use traffic. If you're using a website conversion, Facebook over time, once the pixels got intelligent, will know the type of traffic to bring through. So the better the traffic coming through, the less your bounce will be. A bounce is when someone's hit the website and bounces off. Traffic campaigns are notorious for that. As I said, 3 years ago, you could use a traffic campaign to sell stuff. You can't now. The traffic campaign is basically going to get people to click on your ad and not do anything after. That's why you get a high bounce rate.
Perfect. I'm just going to throw one in there. Why are Facebook still offering these methods of advertising? I think I know what you're going to say to this, but why are they still offering traffic ads when they're not? Well, you're telling me that they're not working.
In an agency, in a full marketing strategy, we use all the different objectives, but we know what we're doing, and we've got budgets to spend, and we've got a full marketing strategy, which has taken a team days to create and test. If we're talking about you want to run a couple of ads because you want to get some e-commerce sales or get some leads coming in, always stick to conversion. Unless you're an expert in this field and with that platform, just stick to conversions.
Okay.
Also, it's a bit like emailing a prospect list, a cold list. That's what traffic ad is. You know that some of those prospects will be customers in the time, but not all of them will be. So again, it's going in the dark a bit, isn't it?
I do just love the Minty's just put on the chat. By the way, I'm a woman,
oh, whoops!
Brilliant. So apologies. And
by the way,
Ash, over a short time. In terms of Julia, we'll email you about Google Analytics and UTMs because it's quite in depth. And Josh internally is our resident Google Analytics and UTM guy. So we'll reach out to you and give you a hand on that.
But there's a little big up to Julia. You're way ahead of 99.99% of advertisers if you're even thinking of UTMs and Google Analytics. So well done.
Anthony Lord, yes, they do, because we create a lot of leads for B2B companies, and it's just getting them the right time and serving them the right content.
Okay, brilliant. Look, I'm going to call it there.
You don't need to be here, Ash. Just leave us to it.
Look, what I'm going to do is all the questions that are still open. Obviously, thank you guys. You've supplied more questions than we even have time for, so I appreciate that. But I will get those over to the guys. Can we end with a sort of what is the ads clinic? Because a few people have put that in the chat. And I'm also going to mirror that, because I know you want to speak about this, with a poll to finish, which kind of goes hand in hand with the ads clinic. So,
well, I have to introduce myself now as the doctor. James will love this one. So, the doctor of the ads clinic. The ads clinic came up. We have a successful podcast, and the ads clinic developed off that and off these kind of things that we do, where people aren't at the stage of going to an agency, aren't big enough for an agency, but they also know enough about what's going on. So we have the ads clinic, which is the adsclinic.com. You can go on there and you can get 30-minute free call with me to consult you. Thereafter, if you like what you see and you've got your ads running and I can help, I can come on as a consultant and help with your ads on a weekly or bi-weekly basis at a cost. But I do only take 10 people on. It's a couple of spaces, but obviously I've got the agency to also run with James. So that's what
a couple of things just to add on there, Nick, is that the ads clinic is people that are already running ads. So it's people need to have an ads account, actually need to be running ads currently. And secondly, that Nick is a self-proclaimed doctor. I can confirm he's not an actual doctor and he hasn't got a doctorate. So I just want to make sure that's very clear as we're on this webinar.
I might even wear my white coat and stethoscope. It's funny.
Right, this could go off on a tangent very, very quickly. We could literally go downhill very quickly here. So I'm going to.
And thanks everyone for listening to that. Was really good.
No problem. Look, most people have done it already, but I always like ending these sessions with big thanks in the chat. So if everybody, all the visitors that are watching, if you enjoyed this session and want to thank Nick and James for joining us, please do so by putting a little clap emoji in there or just a simple thank you. It boosts the doctor and his friend's ego immensely. So if you can do
it's not an ego. It's just funny. Our podcast cover changed yesterday. Got approved by James. I hadn't even seen it. And there's me standing in a lab coat with a stethoscope around it. So
brilliant. Okay. And before everyone leaves, the poll is still running. So if you do want to get Nick onto your ads account, taking a look in a free 30-minute review, please just put hell yes, or obviously that's a yes in the chat, and I'll make sure that gets posted.
Can I just do a little shout out to the podcast actually? So it's Let's Run Facebook Ads, the podcast, and it's on all of them, Spotify, Google, Apple. If you just type in Facebook or Facebook ads, I think we are actually the first one. But it's in depth. We're all about helping small businesses with little tactics. We sometimes go in depth with how to do things on the ads, little tactics we used for retargeting. It's really, really good place. And we also have a Facebook group. So loads of resource.
Cool. Well, I listen to the ads podcast when cleaning the car at the weekend. So I can confirm it is certified car cleaning material. So that's good. That's all we got time for. So one last time, Nick, James, thank you very much. And for everyone watching webinar 2, this Q&A on Facebook ads, thank you for joining. Hi everyone, thanks for watching another recording from Marketing Showcase Online. I hope you enjoyed it. Just to let you know, we've got all of the recordings uploaded to our brand new YouTube channel, so go over there and check it out if you want some more great content. We run these events once every month, free of charge, so head over to our website to grab tickets for next month's event. I look forward to seeing you there.